If you have been watching my recent HBAR videos, you are aware that I have been fully focused on DeFi, specifically TVL on Hedera, because it has been absolutely on fire. And this is actually a very big thing to focus on. Why? Well, because TVL growing means that Hedera is eating up a much larger percentage of the DeFi market, which is all revenue for the network. This is very good to see, and I'm actually very excited about it, and it just goes to show you how big Hedera actually is becoming. But in this video, I actually want to address a lot of things, not just DeFi, but a lot of things happening around Hedera that if you hold HBAR, you should be aware of. So with that being said, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. And also, if you guys are not in that free Discord, what are you guys waiting for? Now is literally the best time to be in that free Discord to get access to a ton of free valuable information to make sure that you guys are successful this cycle. With that being said, let's dive on in. So like I said, TVL on Hedera has been growing. 333.3 million, 3333, right? And I do think that this is going to probably end the cycle off by hitting well over $1 billion. I would not be surprised if we hit multiple billion-dollar TVL levels for Hedera simply because of how much is happening around the DeFi market for Hedera. We talk about the blue chips like SaucerSwap, obviously, but we also have to mention some newer names like Bonzo Finance, for an example. But guess what? We have even more to talk about. I'm going to be talking about it. I'm going to be addressing it. But let's actually address a few things around TVL because, it has been growing significantly. It's been great to see. But what about volume on Hedera? For an example, if we actually look at TVL volume, this is DeFi volume basically. DeFi volume has been doing very, very well. Now this is by weekly. If we go by monthly, the monthly volume on Hedera for December is creeping up to almost $600 million, which is insane to say the least. I mean, listen, we thought the almost 300 million back in March was crazy, but we've been quickly growing week over week, month over month. And if we look at the weekly, right, towards the beginning of December, we were at $211 million. That's insane. That's insane to me. Now, recently, the last week, we just closed off the week at almost 39 million. It just goes to show you how much use around the DeFi market for Hedera there actually is. But what about HBAR volume as well? Guys, HBAR volume in the month of December is over $50 billion, $53 billion. And on the weekly, right, we could also see the weekly, this has been slowly creeping down. I mean, again, we're not going to be right around the beginning of December. This is when all the hype was there. There's a lot more focus on these networks. There's a lot more trading happening because FOMO was hitting. But right now we're kind of cooling off, which is fine. But I'm actually expecting this volume on HBAR, but also volume around DeFi and even TVL for Hedera to wake up in a large way once we start to see the market bouncing back leading into 2025. Now, on top of that, right, I also think that new players are, starting to really kind of light the DeFi match. And I think that this is going to really kind of start a big fire and it's going to spread very fast. And that's when we really start to see the excitement around Hedera. Bonzo Finance is one that I have been mentioning quite a bit. I'm sure that you guys are probably all already aware of that, right? I mean, this thing launched back on the 27th into the 28th. This is the actual official launch. In just a few hours, it went from 0 to 1.17 million. And this was only in a few hours. This was really kind of propelling DeFi 2.0 on Hedera. And they've actually been just killing it. I mean, they've been growing significantly. They continue to push products. They continue to innovate. And like I said, they have been doing a very, very good job. But I bring up Bonzo Finance because I want you guys to understand how fast they did grow. They've been doing a very solid job. And now we have a new player. Now it's a player that I've mentioned before, Serial Finance. Guys, Serial Finance is serious. They're serious about making sure that DeFi on Hedera just continues to grow. And this is also a part of the DeFi 2.0, push. And we have here, latest Serial testnet is live. Here we go. The Serial testnet is now live at the following address. Now, if we actually look at this right, we could see what it's going to basically look like upon launch. Guys, tell me this UI, tell me this design is not incredible. It's beautiful. It's very simple, very straightforward. Any user is going to be able to tap into this in a very easy way. They're going to understand it's going to be, I mean, this is just the page. This is the homepage, dashboard. Very simple, very clean. Here's the analytics tab. This is what the analytics tab looks like. Global stats we could see, account statistics, top 5 borrowers, for an example. We could also see liquidation manager as well. I mean, guys, this is very clean. This UI is very clean, very similar to even Bonzo Finance, right? We've talked about Bonzo Finance. If you actually go and look at their app, this is what their app looks like. So again, very straightforward, nothing too crazy. Very easy to, kind of work around. And the same goes for Serial Finance. I'm expecting Serial Finance to also grow significantly in TVL. These projects, guys, I'm telling you right now, these projects are igniting the DeFi 2.0 push. And by the way, Serial Finance just announced on the 23rd, Quantum Vaults. This is their new liquidity program designed to attract new users supported by partners. What is it? APR boosters, higher rewards for suppliers and lower costs for borrowers, serial farming, which is their token, deposit eligible tokens, receive airdrops, and then also giveaways. Guys, they're already starting to become a very big DeFi project. This is going to onboard a lot more users, creating a snowball effect around TVL. I'm very excited to see what this does at launch. Just like Bonzo Finance had that big push upon launch, I'm expecting Serial Finance to also have that big launch as well. Again, DeFi on Hedera is red hot. It is going absolutely crazy. Now, on top of this, I also want to lead us down a path to these videos from the 21st. This is Gregory L. Bell, the SVP, live from NYSE. He's talking about the DREC Alliance with Hedera, Cardano, Ripple, and Algorand, as well as RWA tokenization on Hedera with Archix and also Red Swan. Check this out.
When we take a look back at how the crypto market has expanded in 2024, we started out here in the US with the launch of spot Bitcoin ETFs, followed by spot ETH ETFs, and now options as well. So given everything we've seen in crypto, as well as political implications as we move forward to 2025, give us an idea of some of the trends you've been watching when it comes to distributed ledgers, and what can we expect as we head into 2025?
Sure. I mean, when I look back at the last year, I see 3 very clear trends. The first really is around asset safety. Then we have interoperability and tokenization. From an asset safety perspective, should cryptocurrencies really become mainstream, they need to be safe. There needs to be manners in which people have recovery options for assets if they are lost. And so Hedera recently joined forces with other US-based blockchains, including Ripple, XRP, Cardano, Algorand, and others, to come together and form a collaboration that's really focused around that asset safety. And that in turn has led to a lot of the interoperability, that sort of second theme, which is building the bridges across these various ecosystems. So the blockchains are not operating independently. And on the third side, in terms of tokenization, what we've seen is just a tremendous amount of demand and growth for securities that are now being represented on various blockchains. So we've seen money market funds from asset managers like Aberdeen, BlackRock, and others, as well as real estate that have been tokenized. And a lot of hard work by some of the amazing startups and regulated exchanges like Archix, the UK exchange, as well as a US broker dealer, Red Swan, that have just been doing tremendous amount of work in the tokenization space.
And again, when we think about Hedera currently, I'm sorry, but I know that I keep going back to 2021, but it's just crazy how much more recognition Hedera is getting today. But all of these moves that Hedera has been making, it's leading us down a path to not just like the holders being very happy with the gains on HBAR. It's also leading us down a path to, Hedera being on a list. I mean, think about this list right now. All right, with the DREC Alliance, Hedera is sitting next to Cardano, Ripple, and Algorand. If we go back to 2021, I remember saying Hedera is going to be a blue chip. Hedera is going to be, a top 10 project. A lot of people did not believe it then. And you know what? It didn't come to fruition back in 2021, which, hey, it is what it is. Predictions only go so far. I do think that Hedera is on a path to becoming a top 10 project. I don't care when it happens. I just know that it's going to happen. But to have Hedera next to these names, to have Hedera getting the publicity that it's been getting, and for Hedera to be as big as a player that it is now, I have watched Hedera grow substantially. And it's very impressive on what's been happening in just the last couple years. I mean, listen, I always say a year in crypto is like 5-10 years in traditional finance. And it's because of what's happening in this space. The technology, how it's moving, the names that are now here, the moves being made around tokenization alone is so impressive. And I don't think people realize the path that we're actually on. I know that there's a lot of you out there that are, watching these videos, learning from these videos and understanding the path that we're on. But just think about what, the rest of the world is going to, do when they finally realize the opportunity that they missed by not paying attention and, really kind of locking in on the target. Because guys, Hedera is such a special project in this space. It's becoming a crucial piece for not just DeFi, institutional DeFi though. Institutions are now embracing it. Wall Street's also looking into it. How do we know that? Well, over here. With Trump's election, we also have NSE PLC's plans for RWA tokenization on Hedera and the intersection of AI and Web3. Check this out.
Finally, before I let you go, for the layperson who might be watching this right now, and they might be familiar with Bitcoin or even invest in them from a retail ETF perspective, wouldn't your take on the surge we've been seeing, not just in Bitcoin, but also across crypto and altcoins post-election?
Certainly the policy change has been a benefit specifically for US-based blockchains, and I would expect it to continue into 2025. Where I would say that we're going to see a lot more adoption continuing of tokenization, that narrative, as well as the deployment of blockchain solutions for and by large corporations for specific applications. Hedera is the most used network in terms of transaction count, more transactions than Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana combined. So we're seeing a lot of adoption there. For example, the Nairobi Stock Exchange in Kenya recently came on board to Hedera, and they're looking to leapfrog, their technology solution to a Web3 blockchain-based solution. So we look at the New York Stock Exchange around us. It's changed over the years, and of course, what's driving that change is technology. And I would expect that technology to continue to drive forward. And as we move towards the next trillion transactions, that will really be driven by AI-related Internet of Things transactions that could include transactions in space and satellites. And so I'd expect the convergence of blockchain and AI agents to really be a theme as we head into 2025.
Okay, Greg, well, we will have to leave it there. Thank you.
And, if we're thinking about this, right, Hedera has been hitting home with a lot of AI projects. We've been hearing about, Hedera really kind of stealing the show when it comes to, institutional adoption and institutional use. You have Shinhan Bank, Standard Bank. You also have the potential Hedera ETFs. Guys, Hedera is going to be a much bigger player than a lot of people are assuming. And I think that we're just starting to kind of see some of the big moves being made. Even though the last 2, 3, 4 years have been incredible to see the growth of Hedera, I don't think that we really, I don't think that we even witnessed some of the biggest moves yet. Because I think that those actually start to happen in 2025. Especially with a pro crypto admin, we're starting to see the embracement of, regulations, which is going to set the legitimate players in the spotlight. I am very excited for the future of this space. I'm more so excited for the future of some of these projects that I've been talking about because, everything that I have been talking about, not to just be like that guy, but, a lot of the things that I have been telling you guys about are coming to fruition. And it goes back to my statement that I said, and I've been saying this since 2021, being a visionary in this space, when everyone is just locked in on the short term, can simply be a big divider between you and life-changing success. And what I mean by that is, having that vision of where this space could essentially go, having a solid outlook on, how big this technology actually is versus being just a short term, I want to make this much money in the shortest amount of possible, way, having that difference, that different focus, that different mindset, and that different vision is what separates somebody who, gets a little rich versus somebody who sets their family up for life. And I do think that this technology has the potential to be utilized in every single aspect of life. And the early investors, the early visionaries, they are going to reap the rewards in such a massive way to the point where their children and, their children's children, they're not going to have to worry because this is generational wealth being made. I strongly believe that. And I will continue to stand by that today, next year, the year after that, because this is much bigger than the internet boom. This is much bigger than any technological revolution that has happened. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely will like, subscribe, notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.